this November 15th meeting to order. I'd like to announce first that we have an attorney who's going to be a little bit late because he's over in the town of Washington at their meeting. We have Councilman Gusikoff is not going to be here this evening because of his annual trip, and the rest of us are here, ready to call the meeting to order and salute the flag. If you could join me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Everyone, please be seated. First order of business is to approve the minutes for the October 18th meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, here's my stuff. Okay. All right, next up, I'll go through a few things. One is we have the following changes in the budgets. Now, we went through good, perfect timing to start it. No, that's fine. The last time we met, we went through the original changes. We had some positive news with regard to insurance and that sort of thing. But since then, we've gotten even better news because the workers' comp went down $4,500, which is a really great thing. And it's gotten better and better every year. So central processing went up $100. We have to change and tweak the budget a little bit because we get these quotes sometimes late for 2024. So as a result, we go back in and fix the budget and adjust it and make sure it's fine. We had a workers' comp for highway went down 3361. For the general fund, it went down 4,528. So that's good because of that updated quote. We added the savings from workers' comp, the 3,361 to the general repairs line on highway. So that's how we moved that around. And the workers' comp general fund where we saved $4,528, we took that $4,428 and we put that into town buildings because the electricity costs were running really right at the line there for actual expenditures this year. So I moved it into there. And we added $100 to central processing for an increase in the tax software that we get. The other thing that we changed was we get a pilot, which is from the solar development, which is $10,400, which is why we're getting a little over $40,000 from the solar development. And in talking to the comptroller's office, we learned that we had a new line to put the pilot on, which is a budget line 1081. So we moved other payments. We used to put it in our rental of real property. So we moved it into the proper line, which is 1081, which is other payments in lieu of taxes or pilot. So I think they track that stuff when we do the AUD at the end of the year. So those are all the changes that we've had. We have a good solid budget, as you know, because we have the taxes are flat. Most of the departments got what they wanted. We run tight as usual, but we're in good shape. So those are the only changes. That's for the record, and that goes also into the minutes, so everybody knows we're not going to change anything without people knowing. Okay. Now the next up, I'd say, as far as cash flow goes, we're 11% over goal for revenue, and we are at 98% as far as expenditures. So we're a little bit under what we budgeted to expend this year. This is through October, these numbers, so we have a little bit more to go. Then I would say that we have from the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office, we have the annual letter that we get telling us what his fees are going to be for the year. So the deputy sheriff's, their hourly rate is $30. Entry level rate is $26.80. They charge us for administrative fees billed per hour. They charge us $1.18 for mileage. We only reimburse the IRS rate. They charge us $1.18, but it's gone up. Fringe benefits that they charge us for if we use their services, 18.80%, and FICA is 7.65. So anyway, it hasn't changed that much from each year, but we get it. There's nothing, it's not negotiable. It's just as an information. So if anybody wants a copy of this, they can have it. Otherwise, we put it in the file and we compare it with any bills we might get. All right. I don't know if did you see this did you see this? Did I put this in your box? This is from the Dutchess County
Yes.
Transportation Council.
Yes.
I mean, it's shocking to me how few state roads we have in the town. I mean, if you look through, the Dutchess County Transportation Council has, in the Dutchess County Department of Works, they sent out a 2022 pavement condition data, federal aid on roads. So it tells you the condition. They kind of do a review, and it doesn't capture any 2023 pavement work, but only paved roads that are eligible for federal funds were evaluated. So then we looked at, and I looked through every one of those maps briefly, just flipped through them, and they're all packed with all these roads, and they're all really busy. And then here's Unionville. It's like we have this little section over here on Pleasant Ridge is in poor condition. It looks like, so maybe we should, the distress is frequent and severe. So I think maybe that's one of the roads, that's the way they rate it. So maybe it's one of those roads, if they have any grants available, or we could push them into going after that one, that's. Oh, did they?
Yes.
Oh,
And-
that's
And of
good.
course, they repaired out here by the park
Yeah,
on the S turn, which is nice.
yeah, oh, they did a nice job there. That was pretty dangerous.
It's all striped.
Oh, good. All right, I didn't know about that. That's great. All right, interesting though, the few ones that we have. Then the only other order of business, I think we have a strong agenda with a lot of stuff going on, so I don't really have, other than the budget review, which I can do. Well, we've already done we've done it 2 or 3 times, the budget review. So if I was gonna just reiterate anything, but which we have copies of the budget, if anybody wants it, it's also online. And the changes that I announced have already been put into it. But the total town budget is $1,927,809. The town taxable assessed value adjusted a little bit. Last time we reviewed this, it was 1.2. It came down to 1.1 because there was some negotiations with the county on some exemptions. So, but our total town assessed value is 626 million. The general tax fund is flat. The highway fund is flat from last year, and combined is $1,927,809. So anybody wants a copy of the summary, it's right here. And multiple pages of the budget are around. Okay, and I think that's about all that I had to go over tonight, since we have other things to do. So at this point, I would look for board member reports. Councilman, give me what do you have?
I'd like to thank the residents, with the last election for electing me again to represent them for another 4 years. I'll represent them to the best of my ability, and I want to say thank you.
Anything else? Nothing? That's it? Councilman Welsh?
Just trying to keep up with all the budget stuff, seeing that everything got done. Did a good job.
Okay, Councilman Durham.
Yeah, much of the same. I know we all been working on the budget. You especially worked really hard on the budget, so I think it's a really good budget, and anxious to get it passed.
Good. All right, highway superintendent, Mr. Katie, you want to sit over there? I don't know where, oh, you can sit here, wherever you want. Where you think it's better.
Went on.
Will you switch? All on. Oh,
Okay.
so he'll get picked up. Okay. Get on.
So we've sent out our bid packet for the vendors for 2024, reading of the bids the first week of December.
Yeah, December 6th, we bid
Yeah.
opening date.
Working on the 5-year plan for our roads. Should have that to you by the 1st of December or sooner. We're doing some tree removal via our tree guy, not our crew. We're cleaning ditches, blowing out ditches, that kind of fall maintenance kind of stuff. Working on getting all of the plow trucks back up in good order again. That is a change. Get some different salt to use. That's pretty much what we're up to.
Yeah, it's been working well. All the comments from people, when we send them over, I get a lot of responses. People say, boy, those guys are here the next day. They're here. So that's really great. Thank you, Troy. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
thank you for
thanks
that.
for the nice repair on this one.
Oops. I don't know what that. Speaking of that, I was on with FEMA again yesterday.
So,
Yeah. I think we've got everything figured out for the road repairs from the July storm, so that looks like that's closed. And then Tom Harvey is our engineer, is gonna be, he's gonna come, he's going to supply me with the short-term fix plan for the bridge so that I can put it on the FEMA portal, and then we're gonna talk about the long-term solutions. And he's gonna write up estimates for both, and that's the next phase, so that's an important one, because he hasn't put it in writing yet, but I think they estimated that bridge around 300,000.
I think they're about half of it should be.
Oh, really?
It's gonna be
Cause it's gotta
way
be,
more than 300,000. Change the language.
he's talking about let's see what style.
He's talking about arch bridge, whether it be corrugated aluminum or precast concrete. Because it's a municipality, as we know, it's going to be a prevailing wage shift, which escalates the price. Just think he's underestimating that it's gonna cost, from my experience doing bridges.
Good. Well,
We can hope he's right.
but he hasn't done the final work yet.
Right. No,
So, and I haven't submitted anything to them yet, so that's good. So he might come to your number when he does all the math.
Yeah.
All right, so that's good. And then I haven't heard anything back about our salt shed grant.
Right.
But that's a $300,000 number. So that would be nice to hear that. So I've looked everywhere trying to find out when they share the results. I'm gonna have to, yeah,
you and I looked at that one.
yeah. And I tried again today, but I can't find it. So anyway, we gotta call some people, but I was hoping that would come in soon. So you
Did
can
any
make
of our
plans.
state representatives?
Yeah, no, I don't know that they know that, but I know a woman that worked on that group, so she'll know exactly what it is. So I know, I think it's, Brad Kendall's wife actually knows that
Oh.
stuff like the back of her hand.
Great.
So she'll be able to help us. She was in one of the classes I took, so we got those two things pending, so hopefully. All right, as soon as we get any news, thanks. All right, town clerk report.
Hey, recycling passes for 2024 will be going on sale soon. We're just getting our supplies in, so be prepared for that. I know this went out in a couple mailings, but Bill Pope is hosting a toy drive for unwrapped new gifts. So you can drop those off in town hall up to December 10th. And then, Assemblyman Beepen's, coat drive is also still going on till December 10th. And we have the bin here to drop off coats as well.
That's great, that's great. I came and picked up a box today.
Yeah.
It's nice. All right, thank you very much. Okay, public comments on agenda items. Come on up and.
Hi, my name, for those of you that don't know, is Jean Moore. And 2 years ago, a proposition was on the Unionville ballot to pay Mid-Hudson Library System less than $80,000 a year to allow Unionville residents complete and total use of any library in the area. I was part of the group pushing the proposition because we all believed it was more economical to pay less than $80,000 a year to use any nearby library than it was to spend $2 or $3 million to build a new Unionville town library and then spend an additional $250,000 to $300,000 each and every year on supplies and operating expenses. Almost no one in our group had been involved in such a venture before, but we were committed to let the residents of Unionville know the true facts about the cost of building a new library and the fact that other nearby libraries could be used for less than 1/3 of the cost of having a town library. We started late, so many of the people we talked to had already voted and had not known the purpose of the proposition, so they voted no. Others did not want a new library, but also did not understand the legal language in the proposition, so they also voted no. And then, to make things more convoluted, the Unionville Town Supervisor sent out a mailing to Unionville voters telling them to vote no on the proposition because the town was planning to build a library at Timor Park. That last minute mailing killed our chances and the proposition lost by 168 votes. I am here tonight, even though the town supervisor sent me an email last January telling me to stop taking time from other residents who want to speak, because I believe the cost of a new library is more than our residents can afford. Therefore, I am requesting that the town board table their approval to sign the lease for a library at Timor until the new supervisor and councilmen take office in January. I have no objection to approving the fixing of the roof, but wait until 2024 to decide the library issue. I believe the town voters have indicated their feelings regarding the building of a new library by who they chose as our new supervisor with a margin of 17%. The vote was 58% for Steve Frazier to 41% for Betsy Moss. To me, that margin seems to be a negative reaction to the new library the supervisor is pushing. In fact, if the current supervisor were totally candid, she would admit the same, because in the email in which she essentially told me not to speak anymore at the board meetings, she wrote, quote, "The people will let us know what they want and then we will get it for them," unquote. I agree. The people have let us know what they want. The question is, will the town board get the message that the voters sent them? That's all.
Comments on agenda items? Good, okay. Next up, Unionville Library President of the Board of Trustees, Amy Watkins. Here. Yeah, I think, whichever one's easier for you. What do you want me to say? No, I think that's good. Then everybody can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's
All
all right.
right.
Thank you.
So I know it's been a few weeks since I was able to share how things are going with the library, but we are thrilled that we are nearing the end of right before we submit our charter. So in order to be chartered, we do need to have the lease, and that's really important to us. I can speak to the wonderful programs that have already been happening, and the response that we're getting from our community has been really positive. So perhaps that's changed since that was initially discussed. But I can say that every Thursday we've been engaging in virtual programming right around dinner time. We had talked about that, so that as parents and families are getting ready for dinner, they have access to hear an author read a book to them through a private link that they register through. And we've had pictures that parents have shared with our library director of that, and that's been great. In addition, we've scheduled 2 different things for November. Placemats to be woven, and also there's the food drive going on, and also the thank goodness there's time more. I think that's what it is. It's TTGT.
Yeah.
And so there've been a great amount of collaboration with Parks and Rec, which is really nice, and trying to, even without our charter, making that connection with our residents to have that central hub that we have been talking about for the past year, of what, through all the forums that we had with our consultant that came in, really spoke to us having a central place where people can come, and not just at the wonderful festivals that we have here, but on a day-to-day without an event. You know, that's one of the best things about working in a school system, is going into the classroom when it's not an event, when you're just there watching students learn. And that's one of the best parts about being a library. And I know our director, one of the focus that she has had is really working closely with the senior center and the president of the senior center, Erna, and developing programs that really meet the needs of the seniors that attend the senior center, and trying to figure out what would be interest to them. And again, if we go back to the focus groups and the notes that were taken, exhaustive notes that were taken, that was one of the big things, right? Libraries aren't just about the Mommy and Me programs, which are absolutely appropriate and very important, but also the other end of our community that may not have as many connections. So when my father moved in the community over 3 years ago, that was one of the things that I came to Betsy about as a resident of this community for almost 30 years, saying, like, what do we have for our seniors? Okay, one day for 4 hours is great, but what else do we have? Like, where's another place that my dad could go and meet new people as a newly widowed, at the time, 85-year-old. So I just, am so thrilled that we have this very talented library director making these connections with our seniors and developing that, and also working with the other area library directors. It's been amazing. I work in Millbrook, and I work directly with the Millbrook and library director. We just recently did this wonderful Millbrook Community Fridge and had that fabulous collaboration. And she has met with, Megan has met with her and had a really nice meeting and talked about the different programs and collaboration that we could do. And I think the message is getting out. Perhaps it had been previously tainted, but now the message is really about collaboration and not competition, right? We're here to make sure that our citizens always have a place to go and have access to programming and resources and literacy. And that's what I really am thrilled about, that we're so close to finalizing. We have worked on our December programming as well. I've met with, thank you. I've met with the director or the president of LaGrange Library and had a nice conversation, again, just talking about We Come in Peace. And we're really looking forward to having conversations with you and having our directors work together. I'm meeting next week with the president of the Beekman Library. So I'm excited to do that and have some additional conversations. So I feel like now that we're so close is the right time to be having these conversations. Before we were still navigating our path and doing our bylaws and all those things that you've heard me talk about. So I'm very excited to be this close to this really not finish line. Well, it sounds like that, but opening up this journey officially for our town. The other good news is over 200 books are on order that will be arriving. We have shelving coming for the books, in addition to our ILS system, which is the barcoding system that we have. So once our books arrive, we'll work with Baker and Taylor. They'll input all those and send us the labels so that we can have barcoding on all of our books, and then our residents can be coming in to take out those books. So all that can happen in the process of our charter application being reviewed. So it's really exciting for our residents to have access to that. What else can I share with you? So we talked about that. So we are looking at additional furniture for our temporary space in the senior center, just to make it more conducive to the types of programs that we're going to have. So we're working with some different local areas that have submitted some plans, but as always, we always want to go out to bid and make sure that we're getting the most fiscally responsible bid that we can. So I think those are the highlights. We were just here, so I'm happy to share if there's any additional information. I just really for all the trustees, they just wanted me to say thank you for supporting us so far, and it means so much to us that we are able to support the town in this way.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You guys are doing a lot of work in the last year, and Megan has really picked it up and is running with it, isn't she?
She's amazing.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
that's great. Thank you very much. The CAC isn't reporting tonight. They'll be reporting in December. So now we're going to go to the departmental reports. Who would like to read the parks report? Vinny has been
I can
busy
read
over at that bring. I have to.
Okay, town board update for parks, 11/15/23. Our team continues to work on improvements to the number 2 rental house. We have worked on receiving multiple quotes on a replacement boiler, as well as repairing the waste pipe in the basement so that the town may make a well-informed decision. Team had nearly finished repairing each room and are looking for a new fridge to replace the older model that has started to significantly malfunction. Slightly malfunction. Our seasonal bathrooms across the park grounds have been closed for the season due to the weather getting colder, as well as winter time, and will be reopening when the warm weather returns. Construction at Godfrey Park is nearing completion. Thanks to Ed Kading and the Highway Department for loaning proper equipment, our team has been able to form the mulch into more manageable mounds for future community build to finish spreading throughout the playground area. The crew has begun setting up the holiday lights in preparation for the annual Grand Illusion event dated for Saturday, December 2nd. Our team is looking forward to once again being a part of this town tradition.
Great, thank you. All right, we have behind that report, we have 3 quotes. It looks like the boiler in that. And number 2 is, well, it is not working anymore, but we have a temporary fix in there.
Mhm.
So we got 3 quotes from folks, Colts, and then Martin Mechanical. And it's not changing it to gas, but it's the Peerless Iron oil fired hot
Mhm.
water boil model. So there's 3 here. I reviewed it with George and Vinny this week. Obviously, the standout is the last one.
Yeah,
The work is the same, everything's the same. He's a sole proprietor, so he's gonna be less, and he does a very good job. So, I think we're gonna have to go ahead and put that in because that temporary fixes it can last forever.
yeah, the weather's get colder by the day.
Yeah,
And these quotes were all apples to apples, because I know I seen one suggesting something about lining a chimney and suggesting some sort of hot water heater, I believe.
that in there, we also had quotes that I didn't distribute tonight because we had talked about not doing the oil. It might have been the one. Yeah, these are all apples to apples, because George got these and George assembled these quotes and he knew that.
Yeah, he knows the stuff.
Yeah. But there was one when we had a 15, be like 15,000. I mean, it's expensive to switch to gas, so, but I think we decided not to do that. I mean, we could spend more, but
Actually seems like his is a bigger one.
7,800 is
This
what
guy.
you'd expect, right?
Yeah.
He's got 155,000 BTU and the other one's a
What, Kevin?
119. No, I'm just saying that this boiler looks like the boiler of the most competitive bid seems like a larger boiler
Yeah,
than say the folks one, which is
155,000
119.
BTU, yeah,
And folks is 119
yeah, smaller.
Yeah,
BTU. I'm not exactly sure what the other one is. If I can look it up.
You really gotta size the boiler to the house needs, it's an old house, but it doesn't have the greatest insulation. I know it's got a crawl space under the whole living room section.
and then when we were in there looking at it, that cast iron. Talked about that.
Yeah, the waste pipe, yeah.
It just touched it, and it all broke in and went inside the pipe. So that's pretty old. We have another quote for that, but that's probably, that's more of a budgetary, that's like $700 or something. That wasn't very expensive, 788.
Mhm.
So that wasn't, that's gotta be fixed, and it's more of a general maintenance, but this is different.
All right, in reviewing these, I would like to make a motion to accept the quote from Martin Mechanical for the Peerless boiler, 155,000 BTU with the new flue pipe, parts and labor, 1-year warranty, and remove the old boiler at the price of $7,800.
All right, is there a second?
Being that it's apples to apples, who met with him? George?
Yes,
George,
Yeah, and would he be replacing his own valves and stuff? Because I see
Yeah.
that on some of the other quotes.
Yeah, the other guys are a little more
Yeah. but-
detailed, but if George says, he compared them apples to apples, I'm gonna trust George
yeah. No,
to meet with him.
He met with all 3 of them, he and Benny. Yeah, I mean, this was his recommendation, and he knows, and actually, he likes the work of all of them, but he does like this work, this guy.
yeah, he's got a good reputation.
Oh, yeah, oh, that's good.
I don't know, but I
Reputation,
know
that's
his
good,
reputation.
okay.
I've never dealt with him.
All right, we have a motion on the table, is there a second?
Like I said, as long as George is comfortable with it, take that as faith. I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, this is gonna take a couple of weeks even for him to order it and get it in. We'd already
Sure.
asked about that. And if you have any questions, feel free to email George or call him tomorrow, because he was very comfortable with it. So,
Is the old boiler still working? I mean,
no,
We're gonna have to drain water out of the house and then winterize it. 'Cause everything's gonna-
I think we've already done that. I think, but they've got a short-term fix in there. That's why. It'll last a few months, they said, but not more.
Yeah, till,
Yeah.
so this is, the new one's in.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you very much. Next up, recreation. Councilman Derlin, would you like to read that one?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Recreation. Last month, we hosted another successful adult paint and sip at Timar Park. Participants enjoyed making their own fall themed masterpiece and having fun with family and friends. Future adult paint and sip events will be posted on our social media pages and the Parks and Recreation website once they are open for registration. Our TGTT program has been in full swing this fall season, and we enjoyed having elementary students at the park for our various themed full and half days. Registration is open for our Friendsgiving party on Wednesday, November 22nd, as well as future dates leading into the end of December and the new year. Our team has begun preliminary planning for our annual Grand Illumination event set for Saturday, December 2nd from 4:30 to 6 p.m. We look forward to kicking off the holiday season with fun crafts, warm drinks, and snacks, a visit from Santa, and turning on the lights all throughout Timar Park.
Lots going on. Cute place. All right, next up, constables. Councilman McGivney, you want to read that one?
Constables patrolled approximately 568 miles of town roads, including all properties, filling the Explorer with 25.2 gallons of gasoline. The 3 town court dates totaled 22 cases on the dockets with 9 actual appearances and 4 cases responded by mail or phone. There was no issues to report. Constables reported the following during patrols. October 5th, spoke with both parties of a noise complaint. No further action required. No additional complaints reported. October 25th, appearance ticket issued for littering on town roads. Respectfully submitted, George Treadwell, constable in charge.
Thank you very much. Animal control? Is that one, Councilman?
Sure.
I got it.
Okay, animal control report for October 2023. During the month of September, there was 1 found dog reunited with her owner, no lost dogs, no complaints. Respectfully submitted, Virgin Calvi.
Loma,
Yeah,
that's a good thing. All right, next up, old business. We have Godfrey Park Playground. And thank you for the use of that machine. Vinny was there all day today and he was spreading the mulch around. And I think that I'm gonna let all the families know and the people in Godfrey, but I think we might be able to have that community build this weekend unless it's gonna be raining on Saturday.
just early in the morning.
So maybe they'll do it Saturday afternoon and Sunday, and then we'll plan the ribbon cutting, if not
Mhm.
short circuiting them. But they're very excited. I don't know if you've been able to drive by.
Yeah.
It
It's
looks
coming
good,
up.
doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's like a
Yeah.
condo up there. That thing's
it'd
so
be nice,
high.
nice improvement for everybody.
Well, this whole family, community group that's been planning this, the 12-year-old girl, she was one who wanted, that her only wish was a great big slide. She got it. So I think they're very excited and it looks good and it's brand new. And so it'll be a fun celebration. Today, we had the training class for the AEDP, the tape, not the pediatric packs, that's it mislabeled there, for the AEDs, the new ones that the board authorized a few months ago. So we had new bonds in, they trained everybody, they did an excellent job. We had mummies all over the, what are they called? Models, mummies? Dummies, dummy mummies. They were all over the floor and
Mannequins.
everybody, the mannequins, I like mannequins. Anyway, everybody practiced and did it backwards and forwards and shared. And then we talked about choking and it was really good. Actually, those people did an excellent job. And I don't know, what do you think? Everybody got a lot out of it, didn't they?
Extremely informative. Like, I think everyone was really comfortable walking away.
Yeah.
Knowing like all.
What to do.
Yeah.
And he said the group was very interactive. Your guys too, they did. Yeah, they got a lot out of it. They did a nice job. So that was a big success and we're happy to have had that. So now next up is the Unionville Library lease. Now, this lease, we're required to have a lease so that they can put something in their chartering package. That's one of the reasons we're having the lease. So, and then that's, I believe, I think you just said, Amy, that's the last piece and then the chartering package goes in. So, we have the lease that we've distributed. The board's been talking about this lease for 2.5 months. So it's been out there for a long time, but that's the reason that we're doing that tonight. We also, it's important for people to know that the numbers that float around are really incorrect, but the numbers that are going to be raised by donations will be the numbers that renovate the space. And then the annual amount would be about $227,000 in an operating budget. And that could be the same for the next 10 years versus, the others where we were told that that was just gonna keep going up and up and up, and they wouldn't be happy until we were paying what they were paying, which in some cases is a lot more. So from a long-term perspective, financially, it should be good, but it adds a lot more value to the community, obviously. And we are running into a lot of trouble from folks that, felt like you kind of need your own space. So I mean, we heard that a lot. So, and it's been a very long journey. And I think that a lot of people see the vision and how it's going to benefit them. Libraries get a lot of grant money and a lot of things that recreation departments and towns don't get.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of upside to this, and I think that, if people, meet Megan and they see some of the senior programming and the kids programming, and all the neat things that are planned for that space, and the fact that she's sharing with other towns it's a really exciting chapter. And as everybody knows, it was the one thing that Ralph Connor wanted in this park and he never got.
Mhm.
So that's a good thing. And yes, we have it in writing. We have the note that he wrote to Don Wisman. So enough of that. You're forgetting. I think you're forgetting. All right, next up is the 2024 budget. We've gone through all the changes that are supposed to, that were made. So that we're gonna tackle tonight. And then we have, the cell tower, decision, which has been great. As you all remember, we, worked very, very hard in 2019 to get to respond to a company who approached us about putting a cell tower up in the southern portion of the park. And we were pleased because there's such a dead zone there. And the emergency management people in the county wanted it. So it was a real win. Our camp kids can, use the cell phone. They're wandering around because right now they can't. They're using the radios that are spotty. So there was nothing but upside to this. And Beekman had sued us to stop the cell tower. They lost that lawsuit. And then when we got the answer back, they appealed the decision. And because of COVID, we've been waiting for that decision for 2 years. So it's been a very long time waiting for the cell tower to commence. But we finally got the answer and the 30 days has elapsed so that Beekman, there will not be another appeal. So we can solve all of those issues, which are big, because I remember the first year after we did not get that cell tower, they first sued us and we stopped. That was that big hurricane the following year. And you remember
Yeah.
Steve Schmo talking about that guy that did not have any cell service. His wife
Right,
was
he
having
had
a
to
stroke.
drive to find some.
He was driving the phone out
Yeah.
here because all the towers were down in that particular storm. He was going towards LaGrange. The poor man, he finally got a bar and he called 911. And then he turned around to drive home and the fire department was already there. They got there before he did.
Mhm.
So that was a good ending to that story, but everybody was complaining about no cell service. So I think we're finally, because of it's been a delay, but we did many, many hours of work on that. And it looks like we're gonna be able to move forward, which is I think a big help to the community.
And a big help to Time Warner.
Yeah.
The revenue,
Oh, yeah, that's right. The revenue will come,
it's a double benefit.
and when we did this, everybody liked it. Everybody in Unionville was for it. It was the folks in
A small
Beekman.
group, very small.
Yeah, their folks, but our folks are pleased because the revenue will go directly to the parks, which is great. Okay. Oh, a new business, we have the Dutchess County Chamber of Commerce Balloon Festival. We want to go ahead and we are going to go ahead and extend their contract because they need it. They like we did last year. They're already
Through
advertising.
the planning process.
Yeah, which is nice. So we're gonna go ahead and extend the same, I guess, same deal that we had with them last year. We have a stated fee schedule and they rent out the whole park and that's what they pay.
Mhm.
So, all right, so just let everybody know they're advertising already, so that's good for us. And the last thing that we have, which I believe is in here,
It's in here, yeah.
the parental leave. So we've talked in, the board members have talked about parental leave or maternity leave for one of our employees that needed it. Now a second employee needs it. And so we thought since a second employee needs it, we should go ahead and formalize it and put an addendum or a page. We're just going to add on to a section of the employee handbook.
Yeah.
Now, somebody can read that.
There it is.
All right, ready?
Okay, Town of Unionville Employee Handbook, updated section 4.5, sick days. Recommendation, add this section to parental leave. Full-time employees scheduled for 8 hours daily will be eligible for paid parental leave upon upon the birth or adoption of a child after having served at least 1 year in the town of Unionville employment. Salaried employees will be paid 8 weeks straight salary, and hourly employees will be paid for their average schedule hours over the most recent 12 to 24-month period. This benefit is intended to assist new parents with bonding with newly born or adopted infant child. Time may be taken in 1 hour increments, but use of paid parental leave expires after 12 weeks from the birth or adoption of the child.
So that's what we did with both the ladies. We were giving them 8 weeks of pay and
It's fair.
they were happy, very, very happy, both of them. One is not due till March, so that's an
Mhm.
exciting addition. So that would be that. Are there any questions about that? Because that was just, that, we talked about that when we talked about those individual people in executive session. But this is just the attempt to formalize it, so it's written up.
Available for all.
Yeah, it's available for somebody else, you know. And a man might want to take the increments in hours, you know, here or there to help his wife if his wife has a new baby. So, you know, and we haven't heard of any news lately, but you never know. You never know.
It's correct.
No accusations down there. All right, so that's the all councilmen, you guys all got it? You feel comfortable with that? It's similar to what we talked about. Okay, great. All right. So next up, we have the motions and resolutions. Like a motion to approve the preliminary budget as the 2024 adopted budget with all the changes as included that have become a page of the budget.
I will make that motion.
Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
All in favor of adopting the preliminary for the 2024 adopted budget, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? No? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you very much. Next up is the resolution to approve the Unionville Library lease. Councilman, do you have this one? Mr. Derlin,
Oh, yeah.
can you read that, please?
Yeah, sure. Town of Unionville. Town Board Resolution number, what number are we at? 31 of 2023, approving the lease for the Unionville Public Library. Whereas on the 20th day of July 2022, the Town Board of the Town of Unionville adopted resolution number 31-2023, authorizing the establishment of,
22 because it was last year.
oh, okay. Okay, because we have it as 23 on top.
Well, the resolution is 23,
All right.
but the first paragraph is refers to a year ago.
Oh, okay, right. Authorizing, oh, yeah, sorry. Authorizing the establishment of a public library in the town of Unionville, as well as the appointment of library trustees. And whereas the Unionville Public Library will be applying for a charter and needs an executed lease as part of a complete application. And whereas the town board hereby classifies this matter as a type 2 action for the purposes of seeker pursuant to 22 NYCRR 617.5 as continuing agency administration and management, not including new programs or major reordering of priorities that may affect the environment. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the town board of the town of Unionville hereby approves the form lease and authorizes the supervisor to execute it in substantially the same form as attached hereto. And be it further resolved that the adoption of this resolution is subject to permissive referendum, and the town clerk is directed to publish a notice pursuant to the requirements NYS Town Law Sections 90 and 91, that such resolution was adopted subject to permissive referendum.
Councilman, is there a second?
I will second it.
Any discussion? I think it just needs, there's no permissive referendum required for a lease.
Mhm.
It's the fit up of the fact that we're gonna be taking that space and spending $1.5 million on it. And leasing it out to the library, but the library doesn't actually need a lease from us. They just are required to have one for the chartering. It's one
For
of
the
those
state,
things.
yeah.
For the state.
Right.
All right, any other discussion? Anything to say? Okay, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Derlin,
Aye.
Councilman Guscoff is absent, Councilman McGivney,
Nay.
Councilman Welsh,
Aye.
Supervisor Moss.
Aye. Okay, resolution number, I think it's 33. 2023 passes. Thank you very much. We will take care of that. Next up is resolution 24. I'm guessing because there's the blank there, so I think it's resolution 24. This is to authorize the supervisor to sign previously approved cell tower leases and all that extensive work we did 3 years ago. Nothing has changed.
I was
So,
gonna, we approve that same resolution in 19, right?
yeah, we did. So, but anyway, would you like to read this one?
Sure.
Okay.
Town of Unionville Town Board Resolution 24-2023, authorizing supervisor to execute and file all documents and take all actions reasonably necessary to complete the process with the cell tower at 43 DeForest Lane. Whereas on April 18, 2019, the Town Board of the Town of Unionville adopted resolutions number 19-23, 19-24, and 19-25 related to approving an option and grounds lease with the related seeker matters regarding an application by Homeland Towers LLC for the installation and maintenance of a telecommunications tower and related equipment on property with a street address of 43 DeForest Lane and identified as tax map parcel 132200-6659-000 and related seeker. Whereas on June 16, 2019, the Town Board of the Town of Unionville adopted resolutions number 19-27, 19-28, and 19-29, approving the application by Homeland Towers LLC for the installation and maintenance of said telecommunications tower and related equipment on said property, and whereas by notice of petition dated August 16, 2019, the town of Beekman commenced an Article 78 proceeding against the Town Board of the Town of Unionville, seeking to nullify and invalidate all resolutions and approvals granted by the Town of Unionville related to the installation and maintenance of the said telecommunications tower and related equipment, with such proceedings being identified by index number 219-53354. And whereas by decision and order dated May 11, 2020, and entered on May 12, 2020, the Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of Dutchess, ordered, adjusted, and declared that all such resolutions were valid and full legal effect, not made in violation of lawful procedure or affected by errors of law, and not arbitrary or capricious, and thus dismiss the action of or proceeding in all respects. And whereas notice of appeal dated June 9, 2020, the Town of Beekman appealed the said decision and order to the Appellate Division of the Supreme Court, the State of New York, Second Judicial Department, and whereas by decision and order dated September 20th, 2023, and entered on September 23rd, 2023, the Appellate Division of the Supreme Court, State of New York, Second Judicial Department, affirmed the judgment of the Supreme Court, Dutchess County, dated May 11th, 2020, holding that the petition was properly denied and dismissed, and declaring that resolutions were valid. And whereas the deadline for the Town of Beekman to file further appeal in this matter has passed without any further appeal having been filed. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Unionville thus intends to proceed with approvals previously granted and complete the parkland alienation process, and further intends to authorize the supervisor to execute and file any and all documents to take all actions reasonably necessary to effectuate such approvals and complete the parkland alienation process. And whereas the Town Board hereby classifies this matter as a type 2 action for the purposes of seeker pursuant to 22 NYCRR 617.5 as continuing agency administration and management, not including new programs or major reordering of priorities that may affect the environment. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Unionville hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute and file any and all documents and take all actions reasonably necessary to effectuate such approvals and complete the parkland alienation process.
All right, thanks for offering that resolution. May I have a second, please?
Second.
All right, any discussion? Any questions?
I would like to table this resolution until we look into this agreement a little further.
Really, we've been looking at it since 19.
Yeah, today's the first time I actually got a copy of this lease. It's 48 pages long. There was a few things I found. I think the lease rate is under market. I think the increases at 2% are way too low. This agreement, if the extensions are exercised, is a 40-year agreement. So we will be in this agreement for a long period of time. The out clause, if they were to leave, there's nothing stipulating that they have to take the tower down, or it would be at our discretion. They can essentially walk in 10 or 15 years, leave the tower, it becomes our responsibility to take it down, to maintain it. There's a lot of things I found in this lease. I have a background in wireless communications. I didn't have a chance to thoroughly look at this lease, but the short time I looked at it, there was a bunch of things I was able to pick out that should be looked at further.
So you emailed me about that today and I asked you to call Ray Brigatti. Did you call him?
No, but Ray works for the company that we'd be entering the lease with.
Right.
He's gonna work for his company's best interest, not for our town's interest.
That's not the point. That's not the right reason you'd be calling him. You'd be calling him to get the information that you don't have. Now, this lease, there's a couple of things going on here. This lease, and I sent you an article sharing with you with the average leases are.
The average, the Northeast is a lot higher than average. Look at our taxes, look at our costs,
Well,
look at everything in the Northeast.
If you foil, then you can. Or he can give you all the agreements that they've done with all the surrounding towns. We're this is very similar to two he's done with LaGrange. He's done them all over Connecticut Bay, not just him. And you can get all of those leases and they're very similar to ours, only we got a little bit better with that 30%. Now, that being said, this company has been waiting. Their profits have already been eaten into because of the fact that one of the cell providers has gone away. They're not as many available to go on this tower as we would have liked. But they have been waiting for us patiently for 3 years. We really worked hard on this lease at the time. It's still competitive. And when I did the research, when you made that comment, and by the way, you have had several months, you knew over 30 days ago that the litigation that you knew the litigation.
We're still waiting for the window to close. The window.
No, but
just
that's not to
closed.
read a lease. You could have had that lease. Actually, and we had that similar discussion, Kevin. It's interesting because when you first came on board, we were still talking about this lease, wondering what Beekman was gonna do. And you had made those same comments there and we discussed them with you then and said, we've already vetted it.
I never seen a copy of the lease. Like I said, this
Well, you
lease
just have
rate
to
is
ask.
is
We
way,
haven't talked
way
about it.
way below market in this area.
We disagree. And I spoke with Ray Brigatti about it today and he cited many, actually that
Like I said,
1900.
It's gonna turn into a 40-year lease at 2%.
It's actually not gonna be a 40-year lease ultimately.
It is, because it's 10 years with 6 5-year renewals.
Yeah, but when we go through
I mean,
Parkland,
you're in investments, would you invest in something?
when
give
we
you
go to
2%?
Parkland alienation, when we go
Invest in
through.
something, give you 2%.
Let me finish my sentence. When we go through Parkland alienation, they're probably gonna make that number smaller, so then we'll have to come back and talk about the year's lease. But regardless, does anybody else have anything to say? Because we have been through this thing, it's 3 years in the waiting, and we spent many months working on this. And thank you for Jeff Battistoni did a fabulous job with both of those lawsuits that we had, and they both were held up in court.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that we've spent a lot of hours on this. Is there any other discussion? All right, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Councilman Welch,
Aye.
Councilman Derland,
Aye.
Councilman McGivney,
Hey,
Councilman Guscoff is absent, Supervisor Motts.
Aye. All right, that motion carries. Long time coming.
I'm going to.
Well, you were here, you've been here for 4 years, you have plenty of time to talk to him and you knew what's been in the works. So I think tomorrow you should give the guy a call, at least get his information and you'll feel better. Because he's a real expert. He's been doing this for a long time. I mean, you've got a history, a short window of it, Kevin, but I think it'll make you feel better if you talk to the guy. They're very knowledgeable and they have great consultants.
That's the guy that we're signing a lease with. Of course, it's the best thing.
Just
I've
get
ever seen.
information from him and you can keep talking to others, but I think you'll feel better because all of us felt it was a unanimous vote when we did this 4 years ago.
That was 4 years ago. Things have changed in 4 years.
Yeah, they gotten worse.
I mean, same-
Okay,
same
so
lease from 4
Can I
years
have a
ago.
motion to approve to pay the bills, please?
So
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second that one. We need to pay those bills. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right. Public comments on town issues.
would like to make a brief comment on three different things. One has to do with pool hours and access to the pool, just as a personal thing. I went to the pool last summer and I got there about 5:30 after work and I sat for a couple of minutes and then I went to do swim lessons, but I was told, nope, pool's closed. I mean, I went to do swim laps and I was told the pool is closed because swim lessons are commencing. Now, you know, a lot of people who work full-time don't get to go to the pool then after work because the pool is closing to make more money in swim lessons. I think if there's going to be swim lessons, they should be done after 7 o'clock when the pool closes, so that the entire day the pool is open to all town residents. And regarding the balloon festival, I believe I heard that in the next year, the town park will still be available during the festival to town residents. Is that true?
Mhm.
Okay, as it was not this past year. And that's great. I think that's much more fair, but I also think that if we're going to host this thing, and it is almost exclusively in my when I was walking around to talk to people about the 414 proposition a couple of years ago, I walked around that thing for 3 hours asking, are you a Unionville resident? Are you a Unionville resident? And after speaking to literally, and I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of people, I found 2 who were Unionville residents. So if this is going to be an event that is more for revenue generating and prestige perhaps, and less to the benefit of town residents, at the very least, there should be a deep discount for town residents, or they should be free. So that's my second thing. My third thing is regarding library programs. I just want to make clear that the Beekman Library has always provided elaborate and varied programming for adults. When I was the adult programmer at Beekman Library, we did book clubs, we did brain games, we did Wii for seniors, we had knitting, we did all kinds of things. We had one-time programs. I did a gardening program. I mean, there were plenty of adults programs. So I don't want people to misunderstand and think that the new Unionville Library is going to be offering anything that isn't being offered 3 miles down the road at Beekman Library. Thank you. That's it.
All right, any other comments about town issues? Okay, I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Aye.
all in favor? This meeting is adjourned.